Hi, welcome to the ring and all other sports. My name is Leo Connors, and I have a special guest tonight making his 5th appearance in the Five Timers Club, Mr. Todd Graham.
That's right, Mr. Steve Martin.
Mr. Steve Martin.
Perfect.
Todd, you had told me you have a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're going to dive right into it. We're going to get to the fan questions first.
All right.
First question is from Christopher Sanders. Future plans for Proving Ground?
The Wolverine. Independent legend, Wolverine.
Oh, that's who that is?
That's who that is.
You used to tag team with Danger Boy Alfredo?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Good friends with him and his kid. Future plans for PG. More shows.
Yeah.
We're going to be running more in Peabody.
Nice.
Because, there's a wrestling audience in Peabody that's currently not being satiated.
Right.
So we're going to go handle that. And I'm trying to get something done with my old high school.
Okay.
With Salem High. I'd like to run a show there before I finish up.
Nice.
So yeah, as far as the future, I think we have a lot. We have a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of room to grow, and a lot of people that want to come along on the journey with us. So I think we're in a good spot, and all I got to do is get my head right, and we can keep moving forward. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Nice. Now, Dave Delafontaine wants to know, what are your biggest pet peeves in wrestling, ranging from rookies to pros?
Not being trained, which is hilarious
Yep.
considering the last time I was on this show. But there's a difference between being green and not being
Right.
trained. Pet peeves, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I know people that have been in the business for a half a cup of coffee that mouth off like they're vets. And I don't even mean about the business. I mean about, like, the people in the locker room. And I've honestly shaken hands with people I should have punched in the goddamn mouth.
Right.
But that's a big thing. Repeat the question.
Yeah. What are your biggest pet peeves in wrestling, ranging from rookies to pros?
Not hitting your times.
Right.
I went to the New Japan show in Lowell, and very underwhelming, to be honest, but they all hit their times.
Right.
Like, every match was 8 to 10 minutes tops. Main event was less than 20, and they banged out 9 matches in like less than 2.5 hours. So it was like, okay, what a way to do it.
Right.
Like, if we could only learn.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you in the locker room you're working 8 to 12 minutes or whatever it is, include your entrance in that.
Right.
So, so there's a couple of things.
What about, real quick, what about like when you tell people, oh, they don't tell you they're going to grab the mic? Was that a pet peeve too?
Yeah, when you're on, like, as a talker myself, like, I understand that this is going to sound funny coming from me because I talk a lot. This is the 5th time on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll never get to the name game. Ever. No matter how many names are on the list, we'll never get to it because there's always a story. But I was at a show recently, and it was like every match, someone had something to say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, tell them who you are in the ring.
Right.
Tell that story there.
Yeah,
and also, if you're a new guy coming into a promotion, don't dress like the guy who's running the music.
Right.
I'm just saying.
All right. Dennis Patrick Conway, someone you thought had a lot of potential, but never came through with it.
Dennis Patrick Conway. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, that's one of your best friends.
He's got time. The one name that, because I read that question when it was posted, the one name that immediately comes to mind is a kid by the name Joey Warner.
Okay.
He was one of my guys, like, before PG.
Okay.
And, like, I think, we went all the way back to he was one of my guys in the backyard.
Yep.
And one of those guys that didn't get any formal training.
Right.
But, he learned enough, and he ended up getting used on shows. And when I first started PG, I looked at him as one of the top guys because, well, he was one of my friends. I could trust him. Same thing with Tommy Corbin, for instance. Like, I could trust them because they'd been working with me forever.
Right.
And, I wasn't used to dealing with new people, which is something I've had to grow into over the course of the last several years.
Right.
In fact, I am more likely to use you on my show if you didn't work with me before. Because if you did work with me before, I already know what you're capable of. Next, somebody else. But he had the look. He was in great shape.
Right.
Good gear. The move set was nice. He was flashy. He was interesting to watch. He didn't have the talking, which was okay because not everybody does. But when the door got kicked open and more talent kept walking through it, and the level of quality just kept going like this, he felt like he was still down here, and it intimidated him enough to quit.
Oh, wow.
So we rather than, like, the one lesson that the one thing I would tell people just getting into the business is everybody's better than you. And everybody who you wrestle that is better than you will make you better.
Right.
He saw it as, look at all these guys that are better than me. I can't keep up. I got to go.
That's too bad.
And then he got married, and, and with the marriage, she already had a couple kids.
Yep.
So he became dad real quick, and he's living a happy life.
Good.
Trust me, wrestling is the most toxic business that there is.
Right.
And I learned that every single day. And but he survived, and that's what really matters. So wherever you are, his real name is Dustin. Wherever you are, Dustin, proud of you, and I'm glad I got the time that I did.
Nice. So. All right, Matthew McGee, Freight Train.
Freight Train.
In a perfect world, with your injuries fully healed, will you continue to wrestle after this year?
Well, we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah, definitely. We'll spend a few minutes on it.
So I wanted to do this with you, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. My
I can't
pleasure.
feel this.
Really?
I can't feel you touching my hand.
Whoa.
I have. We're still trying to figure out the severity of everything.
Okay.
I thought that I had torn something in my shoulder.
Okay.
Because I had hurt my right shoulder in my match with Brian Malonis back last July. Not this like a year and change ago.
Right.
I gave him a Saito suplex, landed on my arm, tweaked it.
Right.
He's a big guy.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I remember him afterwards going, "Yeah, my back kind of hurts," and I'm like, "Yeah, I think he landed on my arm." Oh, did I just
Sorry,
lose
on the other side.
Did I just lose the audio?
Just put it right back behind you. That's all good.
Magic of editing. And I always thought it was just I thought it was just going to be like a shoulder injury. Like maybe I tore something. It'll heal up if I just don't do a lot, and it got progressively worse.
Right.
And then it started keeping me up, and so I'm like every other guy. Like, all right. So, are you a car guy at all?
Not really, but
Me neither.
Yeah.
But the joke that I always heard was, I was driving my car, and I heard a noise, and I assessed the noise for 13 weeks. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just like, I felt a pain in my arm, and because I'm a wrestler and things heal up over time, I assessed the pain for a year and a half. And I just figured, I must have got myself really good this time.
Right.
Went to my doctor to initially take a look at the injury, and found out that he's like, you may have broken your neck. Wow. Thankfully, I went and got the x-rays. I didn't break my neck.
Right.
No breaks in my shoulder, nothing like that, nothing crazy. And I was like, okay, but now what?
Yeah.
Because when I was diagnosed as a diabetic, because I'm a type 2 diabetic,
Yep.
when I was diagnosed as a diabetic, it was the most relieving thing that ever happened to me in my life. Because for years, same thing with the bald thing.
Right.
Like, I had long hair my whole life, and I was always afraid of losing my hair. And like the widow's peak got a little further back, it got a little soft up top. And one day, Adam Nessel was like, "You should just shave it off."
Right.
And I shaved it off, and it was like, after that, I kept shaving it off, and I was just like, well, I'm not scared of losing it anymore.
Right. Well, some people can't pull it off. Honestly, you look good.
I
with
have
the
an
bald head. You're
egg-shaped
lucky.
head,
but it looks
it
good.
works.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But the same thing with the diabetes is like, my dad had diabetes and lung cancer, and that's what inevitably killed him. And I spent my whole life worrying that one day, because it was genetic, that I was going to get diabetes. And one day I randomly got a rash.
Right.
And I went to the doctor because it was weird. It was a weird rash for me. I'd never experienced anything like this. Went to the doctor. They did a bunch of tests, and and I wound up in the ER.
Wow.
Just because it was late.
Okay.
And I didn't have my primary care doctor didn't take my insurance at the time. So I'm sitting in the ER, and they're literally giving me fluids because they're like, well, at the very least, you're dehydrated.
Right.
And I wasn't drinking enough water. You know what I mean? I had just gotten over being sick, and I had I just was insatiably thirsty.
Right.
And so it was like literally everything in the house: orange juice, apple juice, soda, not diet soda, just everything, anything but water.
Right.
Okay. Wind up, and my mother was with me, and the doctor walks back in, and my mother's like, she's trying to rationalize what could be going on in her head, and she's like, well, it could be this, could be this. What if it's this? And the doctor's like, no, your son's a diabetic.
Right. Just like that, he knew.
Just like that.
Wow.
No bedside manner.
Right.
No warning. No nothing. Just like, your son's a diabetic. And in that moment, I literally went, okay. Because it happened. I'm not scared of it I'm not scared of it happening anymore. It happened.
But it's something that you can control if you stay on top of it.
It is. My doctor actually said my A1C was 11.5. A normal non-diabetic is 5.5.
Yeah.
And he said, we'll check your blood again in 3 months, and we'll see. It'll probably come down to like 10 or maybe 9.5. I beat diabetes in 3 months.
Nice. Good for you.
And I dropped 50 pounds doing it.
Right.
Gained
But
it.
that obviously helped, man.
Yeah. Depression is what's killing the weight now.
Okay.
But back to the question,
Yes.
which was, in a perfect world, if I'm,
If fully healed, will you continue to wrestle?
the thing is I don't know if I'm ever going to be fully healed.
Right.
Because they found out that the issue is not a break, which is, like I said, I would have been relieved. Well, not relieved, but I
I
would have
know what
been
you're saying.
relieved if they gave me an answer.
Yeah, you would have at least had something in your head you knew. Like you would know.
At least if I knew what the problem was, I could work on it.
Right.
And that's how I do everything.
Right.
It's like, tell me what the problem is, I'll work on it. It's how I've been so successful on the level that I'm at. And we found out that the issue is not in my shoulder. The issue is in my neck.
Okay.
It's between, what did they say, C2 and C5.
Okay.
And right now, we don't know if it's temporary or permanent nerve damage.
Okay.
So there's a possibility that one day, and I had planned on leaving wrestling anyway.
Right.
To focus on the behind.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
On your company.
I feel like that's where I'd be better suited right now. But there's a possibility that one day this stops happening.
Right.
and I lose wrestling, I lose music,
Right.
and
'Cause I know how much you love the music too.
it's what these two things keep me alive.
Right.
Leo.
I understand.
So it's really touchy right
Yep.
now, and I'm being as careful as I possibly can. But the question, in a perfect world, if I heal up, would I want to stay with wrestling, like as a competitor?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So your mind was definitely made up.
My mind was made up before I found out anything about
Right.
my neck or my shoulder or anything like that. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, in my head, I think I've only got 3 or 4 matches left.
Wow.
Just ones that I feel that need to happen.
And we're going to talk about one of them in a little bit.
Yes.
All right. He also wants to know, Mrs. Matthew McGee, Proving Ground grows, becomes a local power in wrestling. Would you like to see it grow beyond New England? Which not many companies do that. But
I don't know. Like one of the criticisms I got from the Grand Imperial Wizard of Wrestling, Todd Sopel, he said that I wanted to be. He's like, that guy wants to be Beyond Wrestling so bad. And I'm just like, I don't even know what Beyond Wrestling is doing.
I've never
right
heard
now.
you've been on here. This is your 5th time. You've never brought up Beyond Wrestling.
I've known Drew since
Right.
back when we were both running garbage shows out of the Caroba.
Right.
But
You've never brought it up.
I've never brought it up. What is Beyond Wrestling? Beyond Wrestling is a promotion that started in a backyard somewhere that became something big. Like,
Right.
okay, who wouldn't want to do that?
Right, exactly.
Like, who wouldn't
Over
want to
1 million
become that?
subscribers on YouTube, right? I heard it was getting close to 2 million, which is insane.
But it's like, why is that something to criticize? Like, all right,
Right.
listen, if
Oh,
there was
yeah.
ever a promotion to use as a prototype for success, why wouldn't that be the one?
Exactly.
Literally started in a backyard somewhere, then went to a building, and then the footage started getting out. YouTube became a thing right as they were putting stuff out.
Right.
They put all this stuff out. Eventually, they bring in for their first live show. They bring in Johnny Gargano and Davey Richards. And then the ball just rolled downhill from there. Well, uphill. It was,
Right.
You know what I mean? Positively. And now they're, when you look at internet presence, which is the most important thing now for a
Sure
wrestling
is.
promotion, is like they're in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like,
No doubt.
like he wants to be Beyond Wrestling so bad. It's like, why would you criticize me for wanting to be successful? You
But
know,
again, like I said,
what-
you've never and that's no knock on Beyond either. Like you've
No.
never brought up like, oh, how I want to be this or anything. Every time you've been on, you've concentrated on your own company.
And when I was starting, I reached out to him for advice, and and Drew has been very cool to me.
That's awesome.
You
That
know,
is. He
like-
seems like a great guy.
He didn't kick any doors wide open for me, but he
Right.
let me peek through a few,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like that was enough. Like,
Right.
it's like, I don't want to mimic what you're doing. I want to do my own thing. But at the same time, it's just like, look, if I have access to speak with people, once again, when you get in the ring with people that are better than you,
Right.
you become better.
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't I get that? Why wouldn't
Right.
I want to be that? So like, that's why I run shows and he's not. So like,
Well, seeing you brought it up, like, you brought up Todd. I had heard that he had said something like that. That's what
Yeah.
he said, right? Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And the 4 questions or whatever on
the other podcast,
wrestling
yeah.
podcast about nothing, which I always mention because I love
not the
Brock.
rest. It wasn't
Oh,
Brian's.
that
It wasn't
one. I'm
Brian's
sorry.
show.
Oh,
No, it was
Injustice.
that's the one.
Yeah,
Julian and Tarzan.
Julian and Tarzan. Okay.
Now I've been on your show 5 times now.
Yep.
And every time I come on here, I try to be diplomatic, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. You've been really.
Last time I was here, I wouldn't even allow us to use his name because I didn't want anyone who didn't know the story
Right.
to like go seek this guy out and be a jerk because nobody needs that.
Right.
Well, somebody needs that.
Yeah.
He was asked on a podcast, who do you hate the most in the business? And he said my name. Not Derek Simonetti. He
Right.
said Todd Graham.
Yep.
And when he was explaining, and you can go listen to the podcast yourself if
Okay.
you really want to hear it.
Yeah. Injustice.
Yeah, it's the
And
Injustice
pro
Wrestling
wrestling New England
something.
way. So I'm sorry that I didn't get it right, guys.
Find
but-
Julian Starr's Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. But like he was telling me that I was the guy that he hated the most in the business, and then in explaining why I was the person he hated the most in the business, he put me over for being a good business person.
Right.
And
You
even
mean the night you both ran head to head and you outdrew him 2-1?
it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like
Okay.
back when I had a bigger stake in Elkmania.
Okay.
I asked him if it would be okay to flyer his shows.
Right.
Because I was paying to go see his shows anyway because his roster was filled with chaotic guys that I knew.
Absolutely.
You know, and Johnny Vegas. Like,
Yep.
who wouldn't want to hang out with Johnny
Right.
Vegas? But it's like, I asked him if I could flyer his thing. And this is something he actually said in the podcast. He's like, he had the gall to ask me. I don't do a really good Todd Sopel impression. I'm a good Todd anyway. So I asked him, he says, like, you know, he's like, he had the gall to ask me to flyer my shows. And I'm like, I asked you if I could do the same thing you were doing at our shows.
Right. And you asked.
Because
You didn't
Todd,
just do it.
I didn't just show up and start handing flyers
Yeah,
out.
Exactly.
And not only that, but every show Todd was on for Elkmania, he would be like, "Hey, can I put down flyers for the shows?" And all of us were like, "Of course, why not? It's down the street. Why wouldn't we help you
Yeah.
advertise? You're part of the team."
Absolutely.
You know, and then of course when I ask it, and you know, he's just like, "Well, you guys use Buddy Romano." I'm like,
him and Buddy
okay,
don't get along.
I understand they don't get along.
Right.
Okay, I get it. See, I watched them.
Todd's list is long, though, I'm sure.
Listen, my legs fell asleep on the toilet while I was reading through that thread. And then, you know, when we had a show that wasn't going to feature Buddy,
Right.
it was, well, you guys use a lot of garbage people on your shows. And I'm just like, yeah, like you.
Right.
You know, like what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, so, but anyway, like he said all these things, and it's the only reason I'm saying anything. It's
Right,
because
right, 'cause of what he had
He
said.
said it to me, and I was actually invited on the podcast to rebut him. I'm like, what am I going to do? Talk about him for an hour?
Right. It's not worth it.
No, it's not. And
Be the bigger person.
And the thing is, it's like I wish him well. You know, like
Yeah.
I always wished him well. If you looked at my phone, if I put my phone, if I did screenshots of every conversation I've ever had of Todd Sopel, he paints his own picture.
Right. Right.
Okay, so like, you know, wherever you are, brother, like do your own thing. I know he just left the business for now.
Right.
You know, he's taking a break. He wants
Yep.
to focus on his music. I'm gonna do that too at some point.
Right.
And you know, he's a great musician. No
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
disrespect
No
there.
doubt. Great guitarist.
But it's just like, cut it out. Like what?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't do anything but be respectful to you. You know, and like.
You even reached out to him before you ran in Peabody.
Yeah, I reached out to him
know?
before I ran in Peabody, and it's like they came to me, man.
Right.
Like what? I don't. Okay, but like we've told the story 1,000
Yeah.
times. We've buried this thing into the ground, and he's still talking.
Right.
Like okay, like listen. I know you can't make everybody happy, and trust me, all of them have been in my life for the last month.
Yep.
But you know, like there has to come a time where it's just like, dude, when are you gonna stop?
Right.
So when are you gonna stop?
Yeah.
Just stop. You know.
Well, I got to say, I've heard a lot of people talk badly about him, and this is the last we're bringing up. I've honestly, never heard anybody say that Todd Graham's an ass. Nobody.
Oh well, I mean,
no, I'm sure there are people out there that might say it.
there's
We know Todd would.
there's at least one today.
Right, but honestly though, I've never heard that about you. So, and I like the way you went about how you asked them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you could run the city, and then not only did you run the city though, that night you really did a great job and beat him 2-1.
And we went back for level 5, and on a holiday weekend
Yep.
that we were really worried about,
Yeah.
we still did about 150, 160 people.
Nice, good for you, man. Seriously, you're a hard-working guy.
To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah.
before we move to the next question, is like the Todd Graham who sits in this chair right now
Yeah.
is not the same one that existed 10 years ago.
Okay.
I'm not done changing.
Right. I understand
As a
that.
person, as a business person, as a human, just
Yeah.
I'm not done changing. And you know, there are people who actually have said, you know, my ex-girlfriend said this to me at
Yeah.
dinner the other night. She said, and it wasn't directed at me. It was just like an offhanded comment. We were talking about something, and she said, people are the people they're going to be forever by the time they hit the age of 30. Which is fair. If they're talking like chemically, like your brain stops
Right.
growing
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever it is, right? And I don't disagree, but I also don't agree.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of me that stays the same
Yep.
at 34, 35, 36, 37, because I'm 33 now.
Yep.
But I'm proud of myself that At 20 years old, I look back at 18 and I said, that guy was stupid.
Right.
At 25, I look back at 20 and I said, that guy was stupid.
Right.
At 30, I look back at 25, I say, that guy is stupid. And at 33 years old, I look back at 30 and go, that guy almost married the wrong person. That guy was stupid.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not done changing.
Right.
I love the fact that every year that goes by in my life, I can look back at least 2, 3, sometimes 5,
Yeah.
and go, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm far and away from where I was.
Right.
And the reason why people today maybe don't say negative things, besides a handful of people, is because it was something I did so prevalently 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was a heat magnet. Hell, I've been telling people all week since you mentioned, hey, can you come on the show?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, nobody will be spared.
Right.
Because I haven't been in a good headspace.
Okay.
And I honestly, I was afraid to come here today.
Well,
Because I was worried that I was going to say something
Yep.
that would negatively affect me or the Proving Ground or RWA, because
Right.
I'm their booker as well.
Right.
And I don't want to be him anymore.
Yeah.
I liked being happy and positive.
Right. But people can change like that, because honestly, when my special needs stepdaughter came into my life, I calmed down. She literally changed my life.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't care how old you are. You can always change. You can always evolve. You can get smarter. You know. And good for you though. But I love it when you come on that you're honest. You know what I mean? And not every. I mean, yeah, the guests are honest, but you go a little further than other guests.
I
you know?
overshare.
But that's all right.
That part of my therapy, I recently stopped sharing how I was feeling on Facebook, so people would stop taking advantage of me
Right.
when I was down. So yeah. Next question.
All right. Jason Chatfield, how long have you been in the wrestling business for, from the starting point till now? Thanks, Jason.
I mean, 2006 was my first match.
Okay.
I started training for the first time in 2004, but I wasn't there long.
Right. You had said that before.
Yeah. So 2006 to present, I went to public school, man. I don't know
So 14, 15 years would be 2004, but that's when you were training.
But what I do is I do the thing that they tell you not to do.
Yeah.
Which is, if you count how long I've been throwing myself at any particular ground where there was a camera running in a backyard or a park someplace, I've been destroying my body for 20 years now.
Wow.
So it was 99 to now. Nice. I mean, obviously, when I was younger, I would tussle around in my backyard, but I didn't take it. And this is going to sound funny because, backyard wrestling is not serious and everything, but we all did it, and some of us did it to varying degrees of seriousness. And I know guys like the Stepdads, for example, great tag team around New England, and one of them was basically like the traveling backyard guy.
No kidding.
He would set up super shows in different cities, and he would drive all over the place. I'm like, all right, I never took it that seriously.
Right.
But I did, catch me under the right lights, and you'll see that my forehead's a roadmap of stupidity. Cutting myself in backyards and parks all over the, and so it's 20 years. No one in my body's giving up.
Right.
So,
nice. Thanks, Jason. Dan Bolia, who's been here many times, he's a 5-timer club member.
Oh, he is also Mr. Steve Martin.
Yes, he is. Right. He says, there's been a lot of talk on Facebook about trained and untrained wrestlers.
Yep.
What did you think of Delilah Hayden's response on the ring and all other sports? I thought it was great.
I did too, and I told you before we started that the second you mentioned Maverick Wild was going to be here, I'm like, oh, they're going to ambush that woman.
Yeah. Nope.
And no, you didn't. Thankfully,
nope, never would. I'm not out to hurt people.
You did mouth off to Dick Lane, so I do owe you a slap for that. But props to my brother Richard Lane.
I reached out to him after though. I didn't know that they were in a kayfabe storyline. I don't know if you told. No, you said, but I did reach out to him and said I had no idea.
No. We were all legitimately concerned.
Okay.
We were,
Gotcha,
and that's not even reflection on your character.
Right.
Because like I said, I've been on the show a bunch of times. I know you. I like you. I don't have a problem with you.
Right.
Mav trained me.
Right.
I know Mav.
Yeah.
He's crazy. I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And I know he's really old school. So as soon as you told me, it was just like, okay, they're going to be sitting on a panel together. And I'm just like, oh, crap. this is going to be bad. And you know what? I watched every second of it, and it wasn't. Right. And Mav was very respectful, and I don't know why I doubted him. I do know why I doubted him, but I don't know why I doubted him.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I doubted you. And Delilah did a good job.
I thought she was great. I really did.
Because you got to remember, like, a lot of people tuned into that show expecting her to say something stupid or buckle under the pressure.
Yeah, and she did. She did great.
She did not. She was elegant.
Yep.
And she said exactly what she felt. And that's the thing. And it's the one thing. Text messaging is killing relationships all over America. So if you ever feel like you're being misunderstood, pick up the goddamn phone.
Right.
So that's the thing. So yeah, that's having her here to speak rather than type it out. It looks, like sometimes you get a bad read. So.
But I'll say this: when Mav asked to come on because he has an open invitation to come on here, I knew, you know what I mean, that he wasn't gonna. Like, I didn't even have to ask him.
Oh, yeah? Where is he?
You know what I mean? No, he whenever he wants to come on.
Oh,
but I knew he would never do that to her. Just not Mav's style to go, you know what I mean? Put somebody down on TV. If he wanted to do that, he'd pull somebody aside and talk to them,
Like I said, on paper, it looked like, but in execution, it was.
Yeah,
it was done well.
I was very glad to have her on. I really was, and I told her that.
And I don't need to discuss my opinions on this thing. We did a half an hour on it last time I was here.
All right, Dan, thanks, but he's got one more. What are your thoughts on Limitless Wrestling? Have you gone up there yet?
I haven't, but Limitless has basically been paying for my shows for the last 2 years.
Really?
Well, yeah, I do their trading cards.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's right.
I do cards subject to change on Facebook. There was a failed board game by that name, so you just look for the one that looks like there's trading cards in the profile picture. Randy Carver Jr. is he got in touch with me maybe a year ago now, something like that, and he's like he saw what I did for AG because AG was the first person I made cards for PG on a whim.
Yeah.
And then AG saw him, and he's like, I'd really like to do them like the old WCW cards, so I did those. And then he was like, yeah, I showed your stuff to Randy Carver, and he's really interested. Nice. And now it's literally like, I'm not going to go into the numbers or anything like that, if I can steal one from Bischoff. Not going to go into the numbers, but I haven't spent a single personal dime on PG since level 1, which was last May.
That's awesome.
Not this last May, the one before it.
Right.
So I'm paying for wrestling with wrestling, which is the way to go.
Yeah.
Not all my shows make money, but I don't lose anything.
Right.
It's all money that I've made with PG. So
nice. And he is doing a great job up there.
Oh, yeah.
Great job. Let's talk about this. We will find a little bit of time for the name game. Okay.
We only got 26 minutes left.
Listen, on October 20th is your next Proving Ground event.
Yes.
It's at the Chop Shop Part 2.
Yes.
At 225 Conant
Yeah.
Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, featuring all the stars of Proving Ground and some up-and-comers from all around New England.
Yes.
At Proving Ground Level 5, chaos ruled the ring, and a lot of things got out of control.
Yeah, I got kicked out of the building early.
Really?
So I didn't get a chance to do anything about it.
Okay.
I think, I came out with the rest of the Dick Busters in the second segment of the show, and by then Corinne had already served me with papers and booted me out of the building.
Wow.
Now, I found my way back at the end, but the problem is, not only am I a member of the Dick Busters, not only am I a professional wrestler, I'm also in charge of this band of miscreants, and and they earned that title at level 5. I don't think there was one match that went by that didn't have some sort of controversy.
Really?
But the biggest one
was the main event. And that was Derek Conway versus Mike Montero?
Yes, everybody's fit. The black sheep of New England wrestling, Derek Conway.
Yep.
And the ace.
Nice guy, too. He's a very nice guy.
He is. He's very misunderstood.
Yep. I like him.
And nobody really gives him any respect. And on that list of people who don't give him any respect is the ace, Mike Montero. And it's because Derek mouths off.
Okay.
But on this particular night, the tape is irrefutable.
Right. Who was the champ going in?
Mike Montero.
Okay, thanks.
Mike Montero's been the champion since March. And, Derek Conway, we have a rule where if you have a 3-match win streak, you earn yourself a shot at the championship.
That's cool.
He got it. He challenged, and Montero accepted, and they went and had a barn burner of a match in Peabody. The problem is, and this is an issue that I haven't been able to. I wanted to address it shortly after the show, but unfortunately life got in the way, so I'm going to address it tonight.
Excellent.
And that is
exclusive right here.
yes. The tape is very damning.
Okay.
Arguably, Derek Conway should be the Proving Ground champion. He had locked Montero in some kind of like a triangle choke of a hold, and Montero stacked him up on his shoulders. The referee started counting, but what the referee did not see, senior official referee Craig Collier did not see Mike Montero tapping out at 2.5. And I've been struggling. Like, once again, if I was there and I could have made a call on the field to restart the match or decide the other way, something could have happened. But I wasn't there. And I was forced in the afterglow to figure out what the hell had happened. And like I said, the video is very damning. It is very clear that Mike Montero tapped out at 2.5, but the referee didn't see it.
And counted the 3 count.
And he counted the 3 count in front of everybody. And you know what? Half the crowd didn't see it, half the crowd did. And I had to come to a really tough decision. And there is no instant replay rule.
And now, not only was it controversial, but it sounds like it was chaotic. No pun intended to the wrestling company. Of
course.
But confusing.
Yes.
To the fans.
So the official, right here on wrestling and all other sports.
The ring and all other sports.
The ring and all other sports. I will formally announce that Mike Montero is still the Proving Ground heavyweight champion. The referee's decision on the field is going to have to stand. But I would be a terrible person in charge not to immediately allow Derek Conway an opportunity to win it the way he won it at level 5. So on October 20th, I'm announcing it here. Mike Montero will be taking on Derek Conway for the Proving Ground Championship one more time. And we're going to find out once and for all who the actual champion is. No nonsense. So that's what we're going to do. That's the decision I made. Referees, unfortunately, the referee made an error. It happens. But his call on the field is going to stay, and we're just going to redo the match again.
So now I have a few more questions from Proving Ground Level 5. Why you had said that these questions will be answered on October 20th. Maybe you can give us some answers, not like what you feel about this. Why did Burke Beckett cost Dick Lane his match with King Leon VI?
I'm trying to figure out what Burke Beckett is doing at all. He's my little brother, but I feel like I haven't talked to him in like 3 years.
Really?
Like, there's just something wrong.
Okay.
And he dropped me at the Yankee homecoming. He dropped Dick at level 5.
Right.
And we still have no idea what's going on. He won't return my phone calls.
Okay.
So let's put it this way. This whole we'll find out on October 20th. Let's call it wishful thinking.
All right.
Because I don't know.
Okay. Why did Dan Terry attack his own tag team partner, Bullet Joe, in the 6-man tag? Sounded to me like more confusion.
Jealousy.
Oh, okay.
That's my one guess, but I haven't heard from.
But yet again, these questions will be answered on October 20th.
Right. I believe if I'm trying to get the ink on the paper now to get Bullet Joe in the ring with Dan Terry.
Nice.
That would be the plan.
Nice. And the last one you just talked about it. Does Derek Conway deserve to be the? But maybe you're gonna give him another rematch. That's all. All right.
We'll give him another shot.
Okay. Can you tell me about how proud you are about the Proving Ground roster?
Greatest bunch of people I've ever had the chance to work with.
Nice.
And now that we're going into like the 4th or 5th year, something like that, it started in 2015.
Nice.
In a matter of speaking. Once we kicked the door open, the best people that could ever walk through it walked through it.
Right.
And not only that, but like a lot of people, like, the Todd Sopels of the world
Yep.
that will look at us and go, it's nothing, they're garbage, are people who never walked through the door to experience what we
Right.
do. Like, for instance, Christian Casanova did level 4 with us against Chris Venom.
Nice.
We've already signed him. He'll be back.
Wow.
You
That must have
know-
been a hell of a match.
It was. And if things go the way that I think they might, we have a hell of a match for December.
Nice.
Lined
And
up.
you just had it at Proven Ground level 5, Brian Malonis.
Yeah, that was the match of the night. Brian
Yeah.
Malonis and Kevin Giles.
Nice.
It was not supposed to be a street fight, but it became a street fight, and
Right.
it was all over the place.
Brian was on pay-per-view the other night. Ring
Yeah.
of Honor.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see him. All right. I'm going to skip that because we're going to go to the name game, and these names will probably come out.
18 minutes left.
All right. How about we'll start right off the bat with one of your Dick Buster partners, Dick Lane. Insane Dick Lane.
When I heard of him and when I saw him work, I didn't know what I was going to do with him.
Okay.
Because when PG started, I was trying to present it as like a sports product.
Right.
Like I wanted you to watch our show and think, it's like, oh, what is this, ESPN? Is this,
Yeah.
what is this? Is this Nessun? Is this what other sports channels there are? CSN, can we say that? Anyway, so, like I saw him and I was pacing back and forth at my real job going, we're a sports product. And he is a Jedi. How do we make this work? And in my head, I was just like, what if all of his magic was circumstantial? And then after a little while, it was just like, screw it, he's a wizard.
Yeah.
Forget it. Wizards and freak shows and once Dick Lane happened, it was just like, all right, well, I guess we can do whatever we want now. It doesn't matter. So yeah, when I first heard and met Dick Lane, I didn't know what to do with him. Now I don't know what I would do without him.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Tony Spencer.
Well, back when he was training with Vern Gagne,
Yes.
I remember Tony Spencer. You're all welcome for Tony Spencer. Adam Nessel and I take dual responsibility for unleashing that plague into New Hampshire wrestling. Did you notice there's no wrestling in New Hampshire anymore? Yeah, you're welcome. No, Tony and I met like 05,
Right.
and we've been close ever since.
Nice. Okay. How about Sean Leader? Another Dick Buster.
Yes, he is the Dick in the Dick Busters.
Okay.
The biggest one, for
You
sure.
would think Dick would have been the biggest Dick just because of the name.
Well, I haven't seen his yet. You got to understand. When we opened up the Dick Busters Facebook page, the first thing we posted was 101 Sean Leader big dick jokes. Can I say that on this show?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
You're good.
And as speaking as someone who's seen it in person. Anyway, Sean Leader, once again, irreplaceable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last member of the Dick Busters, Derek Conway.
He's not a dick buster, Leo.
He's
Do
not-
your homework.
Who's the other one then?
Oh, Tom's going to be very upset. All right, Tom Billington.
Sorry, Tom.
Apparently the least respected member of the Dick Busters, is also irreplaceable.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys where he's, if you look up reliable in the dictionary,
Yeah, this
I mean, you
picture.
won't see his picture because obviously you don't even know him. So but anyway,
Sorry, Tom.
But anyway, no, he's a Swiss Army knife for me. So yeah, no, he was. It was one of those things where I told people that he was going to be the 4th pick, and a lot of people came to me and they said, "Well, I don't know if that's going to work." And let me tell you something that's worked every day since he came out.
Nice.
Because you want to know why it worked? Because he made it work. He's so
Right.
goddamn good.
Nice.
So he's dealing with an injury right now, and we might not see him for a bit, but who knows?
Right.
Stranger
Apologize to you, Tom. I'm very sorry. How about Stiff Mike?
Like him a lot. Stiff and I had I knew of him for years as
Right.
Apocalypse, and I had heard all the horror stories, and then I met him, and I was just like, I want to work with this guy. And then I did, and then I was just like, I don't want to work here anymore. No, we had a small little feud for APW, and yeah, it was a good time.
All right. We're going to stick with the APW for a few minutes.
Sure.
Joe Moakley.
Chameleon.
Okay.
If you're in a room and you're talking about other people, he'll blend right in.
Right.
He's very good like that. Never really had a problem with Joe,
All right.
as far as I know, anyway.
How about Michael Morse?
Green. Like, I think this is only his first year in the business.
Right.
You know, and running the business, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
You know, because he's not a wrestler, but you know, he's really smart. He's you know, he's got a business degree and all that, I
Right.
believe. And you know, I recently parted ways with APW.
Okay.
And you know, we won't get into that here.
All right.
But you know, we you know, Michael has always been pretty cordial, and I think that with time, he will, you know, like I said, green. You know,
Right.
like that's what happens when you first start out
Right.
running these things. And I'm you know, I don't have a business degree or anything like that, but I've been around the business a very, very, very long time.
Right.
And nobody ever knows that, which is hilarious. Like I remember I was talking with Sonny, and Sonny was telling a story from the old days, and I was just like, and then this happened, and he was like, how do you know that? It's like, I was there. You know, like just because nobody noticed me until 2015 doesn't mean I wasn't there.
Right.
But no, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think the one bit of advice that I would give, not that I'm in any position to be giving anybody advice, but I think the one bit of advice that I would give is don't expand so fast.
Right.
Because everybody who has come before him, or not just him, but like wrestling
Right.
promotions
Yeah.
in general, everybody that's come before that has tried to expand
Right.
quickly,
Like hot shot in the promotion.
yes, they have failed.
Right.
And I want better for him, and I want better for APW and everybody in that locker room.
That's awesome.
So,
All right. How about we brought him up a little bit already. The big guy, Kevin Giles.
Kevin Giles, brother. He's one of the very few people I can talk about anything with.
Nice.
And despite some of the matches that we've had, that like he kicked me in the face once in an outdoor show, like real hard, and it bruised my face, and I got half the Adidas logo on my face, and then I wound up going down and searing it in on the vinyl mat that was out in the sun. So I walked around with that. I looked like Tyson for a little while.
Right.
You know, without the good reputation. But no, brother. Like, I don't, once again, I'm one of those guys that's completely indispensable to me. I don't know what I would do without him.
Nice. How about DTF, Dan Terry?
Well, they don't call him that no more.
Really?
No. He's
He gave that up?
He did.
I liked it.
Yeah, you know, it was funny, but in the words of in the paraphrased words of my brother Dick Lane, funny doesn't always make money, brother.
That's true.
Actually, Dick's never said that. He thinks funny makes money, and that's why he makes money being funny. But Dan Terry had an experience, had an opportunity, and learned a lot about what certain promotions are looking for.
Right.
And he decided to change up what he was doing. And I think it's been successful so far. The American Hammer
Right. Oh.
thing that he's doing.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm ruining NCW's story because we're working together in NCW. But I like Dan Terry a lot, and I think he's got a really strong head on his shoulders. And I think if he keeps doing what he's doing, you know, and keeps progressing in the direction that he thinks he needs to go in,
Right.
if he commits to it, which he has, then it will be. He'll be big if he allows himself to be. He's his own worst enemy.
Right.
Just like me, just like a handful of other people that I can't think of names at the moment. But you know, you ever been in all right. I've been in locker rooms and people have they've had matches with me and they come to me and they're just like, you know, I'm not very good, you know, and I need this and I need that and let's work on this, and I'm just like, you've been on TV. What do you mean you're not very good?
Right.
You know, like not Dan, but I mean like in general.
I-
Like I've been in as like that's like there's an old story Henry Rollins tells.
Okay.
Where he was just like, yeah, I was on tour with the band, and the guy from the main act comes up to me and says, "Is there anybody out there?" And I goes, "Of course there are people out there, dude. It's sold out." And he's just like, "I'm always afraid no one's going to show up." And then when the interview asked who was the main attraction, he was like, Ozzy Osbourne.
Wow. No
Like
kidding.
even Ozzy is just like, I don't know if they're going to be out there, man. You know,
Right.
like I jokingly say it before I come out to the ring in Peabody or Beverly. I always say to somebody, I hope they remember me.
Right.
And then this past Elkmania show, they played my music, which, I didn't create it. It's not unique to me or anything. But once the song started playing, they already knew who it was.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, so I've had that effect on these people. Good.
Listen, so we don't forget and we run out of time, how about I want to bring up to you having your last Elkmania match coming up. What's the date on that?
November 16th.
Okay, and you're taking on Dick Lane.
Yes.
Is this the first time you've gone one-on-one with Dick?
No.
Okay.
No. The last time I wrestled Dick Lane, it was to unify the Bay State in the All-Star titles. We went to a 15-minute time limit draw, and that was the night the Dick Busters were born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it was up to that point that we didn't respect each other very much. Like, I did not respect the nonsense.
Okay.
And he didn't respect the serious. Right. And we beat the piss out of each other for 15 minutes. And when I made the challenge to him the other night at Elkmania, he was very surprised because I didn't tell him I was going to do it. I also didn't tell him or the people in charge at Elkmania that I was leaving.
Right.
But the injury mixed with a few other things made my decision for me.
Right. Okay.
To anybody that's listening, if you didn't get the message that night, please know this. I'm really hurt. Physically. But I'm just going to say this anyway. No matter what banner hangs in that building, no matter which 3 letters represents the promotion that is in that building. Am I allowed to swear on this show?
Yeah, we can bleep it out for the TV, Papa. You were live, yeah? Go ahead.
Okay. That is and always will be my fucking house. So treat it right. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, it'll be my last night, and I wanted to I walked out to the smallest crowd Elkmania's ever had, and I was really disappointed.
Right.
And not in any one particular person,
Yeah.
but I was just like, man, 7 years ago. 7 years ago we would have expected this.
Right.
And then 3 or 4 years in, like when I won the Bay State title, which meant the world to me. The place was packed.
Right.
And then something happened. And I don't know what exactly, but the number just kept going down. And it's not like there aren't fans that like wrestling. I only went one town over, and 200 people the first show, 160 the next, whatever. So I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm just like, how can we sell this building out again? And I'm just like, the last time it was really sold out was when it was me and Jack Kruger.
Right.
Because we built it up for years, and I was just like, we need to give them a match that they'd be willing to pay to see, and why not give them the match that they didn't think they'd ever see, because Dick and I are friends.
Right.
It's literally one of my best friends. Like on the shoot, brother.
Right.
I love that guy. So we agreed, and I think we'll do well that night.
Nice.
And I think we'll give that audience something special to remember.
Okay. And it's a shame that wasn't a big crowd that night, because they do all those shows for charity.
Yes.
It
was for an animal shelter, and I think I don't know the specific numbers.
Yeah.
Ryan and Atlee can correct me later, but it felt like there was maybe 100 and change.
Right.
Or less. I don't know.
That's still better than some companies get.
Well, it's better than any show I've ever run at the Chop Shop, that's for sure. But, but I love that place.
Right. How about, we talked a lot about him anyways, but the ace, Mike Montero.
Brother.
Okay.
A lot of people use the nickname the Ace. The Ace is supposed to be like the top guy in the company.
Right.
And he said this to me the other night. He might have been drunk, but he said this to me the other night. He's like, he pointed at me, and he was just like, this guy, me. It's like, this guy didn't know me from a hole in the wall. He just was commentating on my matches for NCW, because that's when I first really saw him live, back when he was breaking away from being a tag team guy. Because for a long time he was with Chris Cruz as the Stack Deck, or Jason Devine as the Influence, or even with Ricky Medeiros as the Dirt City Murder Crew. So it's like he had been a tag team guy forever, and I knew that part.
Right.
I knew enough about that.
Yep.
That's what I would talk about whenever he was wrestling. And then I was like, can he break out and be a singles guy? And then I think he approached, like, it was I either approached him or he approached me about coming to PG. But I remember saying to myself, I'm like, why do you want to come?
Right.
Because it was at a time where I had no faith.
Right.
Not that I didn't have any faith, but it was just like, you want to come? Like, you're a really good wrestler.
Right.
You want to come roll around with me? You know, like, in the ring. But, you know.
Not that there would be anything wrong with that.
No,
Okay.
let's not get into that. But no, and then he came and had a match with Fox Vineyard, and then he wrestled he wrestled Bullet Joe, and
I love Bullet Joe.
There's a guy he's gonna be. All right, pardon the pun. Bullet Joe's gonna be big someday. Let me tell you something.
He is awesome. He really is.
You know, he's sitting under the right learning trees, I think. But Montero, you know, he went from, we'll probably have him a couple shows.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know him that well.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, we'll probably have him a couple shows. He'll do really well. And then, you know, maybe he'll price himself out because I know some people do that. Or maybe he just won't want to do what we're doing. Because we were just filming at studio shows.
Okay.
And no, he's been around ever since. And I trust, you know, he earned it.
Right.
You know, and he continues to on every show he's at. So,
Nice.
yeah, brother.
Nice.
Glad to
All
have
right. How about our big gun, Jim Sargent, who I have to get back on the show?
Yeah, Big Gun.
Jim. Big Gun.
I like Jim a lot. Jim saw that I was hurting.
Okay.
And because that was when I was posting an awful lot on Facebook about my personal feelings, which I have since stopped.
I saw them. Yeah.
And, you know, doing all these live videos, just lamenting I'm just like, why don't I just shut up? And he would always reach out and be like, hey, not for nothing, but, you know, I always enjoyed sharing a locker room with you, and you were a good guy, and this and that. And it's just like, he's just such a genuinely good guy.
Yeah. I don't know him that well, honestly, but he seems like, you know, honestly, great guy.
He's a good guy.
All right. Well, looks like son of the gun they're not together anymore as a team. Jake Sargent.
Green, he's you know, he's been training for a couple years. He's a good guy when he wants to be.
Right.
He should probably invest a lot of money in running shoes.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. But other than that, yeah, Green.
Okay.
If he keeps working, I know he works hard, so if he keeps working, he'll get better.
Okay. I know we talked about this guy a lot just on this show alone, but Todd Sopel. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay,
like I said, it's like how many times can you wish somebody the best while they're spitting in your face,
Right.
and he's not the only one.
Right.
But like, how often can you like reach your hand out to somebody who you should be knocking out cold?
Right.
And I would never do that. It's just not in my nature. I'm not
Right.
a violent guy. I don't like it. It's hilarious as a wrestler. It's like, I don't believe in violence. Anyway, come see my fighting show. No, I don't really have anything else to say about him. I just, whatever he does next, I hope he does it well, but I hope he does it away from me.
Okay.
Like, that's all I'm asking.
That's great. How about Freight Train?
Good guy.
Good guy.
Good
All
guy.
right.
Watched him wrestle Sabu for about 2 seconds before a tag team came in and made it a tag team tables match. It's nice meeting Sabu. He was a cool guy.
He was really cool.
Yeah.
That's the show Delilah ran,
quiet.
correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, why don't you, we got like 45 seconds. Why don't you plug your show again?
All right, let's plug a bunch of things in
Yes.
45 seconds. Where's the camera? Am I on this one?
That one.
All right.
That one.
So, this weekend,
Yeah.
RWA,
Okay.
Devil's Night, Sunday, afternoon show. Get your tickets now. Proving Ground Level 6, October 20th.
Yes.
I will be performing music with my partner Kenny Nessel at the Topsfield Fair the Thursday the 10th. And we'll be in Salem, Massachusetts for Haunted Happenings on the 12th, I believe.
Okay.
Elkmania.
Yes.
Elkmania. I'm not going to forget Elkmania, Alley, I promise. Elkmania, November 16th. I believe that's a Saturday.
Okay.
If it's not a Saturday, it's the 18th. Anyway, come see me and Dick Lane sell the place out. 3, 2,
1. Thanks for coming on, Todd. Peace.